in the stage, the stager really has the opportunity to build the foundation of these investors' businesses. I mean, that's huge. That's something that can really propel these investors to some long-term success.
So there's going to be multiple streams of revenue. There's going to be a lot of furniture that are sitting there in the field and making me passive income. Passive income over here.
Hey everybody, Shell Brodnax here with another episode of Stager Talk. And today, who do I have on the show but the wittiest stager on the planet, Richard Kline. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Is that the best? I made you blush. Yay, I get a 10. I will tell you, I'm not gonna lie, I've told you this before, but when I check my Facebook in the morning, I just gotta know. I scroll through. Tell me, what is Richard thinking today? So I appreciate your humor.
Well, thank you so much. I think I'm very funny. Most people find me incredibly annoying, but I think I'm hysterical. So
I think you're hysterical, but hey, there's some people, there's people in this world that you either love them or you hate them. And yeah. I think I've got the same jam about me. Somebody's like, oh my gosh, she's loud, she's crass, she's, and other people like, man, she's jamming, she's awesome. So it is what it is. We just roll with it. It's all right.
So everybody, I apologize for it not having a backdrop. We are in the process of redoing our showroom. So we got recently new carpet, we've been painting, and so everything that is normally in our showroom is been shoved back into our warehouse in anticipation of redoing everything. So I have very bare walls right now. So I apologize.
No worries.
So
you are the star of the show. The background. It's just,
there you go.
It's just the background, but I have been watching your progress, so I can't wait to see the new showroom. It's going to be great.
Thank you.
So let's talk about associations,
Sure.
Codes of ethics, what trade associations do, what we shouldn't do, nonprofits. So let me ask you this. I've been asking a lot of people this week about this question because so many people really don't understand nonprofit. So most people think that means that you can't have any money in your bank account at the end of the year and you have to give it all away. I'm like, why would we give our money away? No, negative. No. So what is Richard Kline's understanding of what nonprofit is?
Well, okay, so we're all adults here, right? And I think one of the things that some people have been known to say is that it's only a tax status, which really pisses me off because it is not just a tax status. A not-for-profit or a nonprofit, pardon me, a nonprofit is an organization that invests all of the money that it takes in back into the organization. No one that runs the organization makes money off of the profit, off of the money that it takes in.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, like Shell, you and Gina and the staff, you all make salaries.
Yeah.
You don't make enough, as far as I'm concerned, but you make a salary from it. But that is part of the budget of the organization.
Yeah.
Every other money goes back into the organization.
Yeah, absolutely. So the other thing about nonprofits, nobody owns it. The members own it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are not-for-profits, and those are completely separate from nonprofits. Not-for-profits, those are organizations that at the end of the year there is no money left. No money left in the coffers. Those are completely separate from nonprofits. Other organizations, they take money in and they benefit from that. The people that own them make money.
Yeah.
They increase their wealth from what the monies that they take in.
Yeah.
RESA is not one of those organizations.
They're not.
No, no, they are not. So it is not just a tax status, and I think that everybody needs to be very, very understanding of what RESA is, or what a nonprofit is, and that RESA is a nonprofit.
Yeah, the tax status is important in a bigger sense, because that means that the IRS, who, you know, controls everything, they look at our bylaws, our structure, what we're about, what our missions are, how we operate. I mean, it's a lengthy application process to be able to get through. It actually took like 9 or 10 months to get it done.
Sure.
And they have lots of rules and caveats of how you can operate and what you can't do, which is great. But it's important because the bigger picture, because they did review us. They did look at what we're doing and said, your organization is 100% for the betterment of an industry as a whole. So like when you look at all the different opportunities, you know, we're going to talk about what an association should do, a trade association should do. So one of those things are leadership opportunities. And with that being said, when you donate your time to RESA or to any nonprofit, you're donating your time literally for an industry, not an individual person. So if you're just a regular company and you volunteer your time, you're volunteering your time to help grow somebody else's personal business.
Right.
So even if those have, you know, benefits that something might benefit you, you're literally putting your time in to benefit somebody else's for-profit company. So it's a little bit about the difference. So when we talk about what a trade association should do, so if I was to ask you, Richard, what should a trade association do? What would you say?
Well, I think the whole purpose of a trade association is to benefit the industry that you're representing. The trade association should be in touch with its members enough so that the standards of the industry are raised, and that's from input from the members and input from the training providers of that industry, and that standards are adhered to. I think that one of the main things that the trade association should be doing is representing the industry to other associations that benefit from our industry. Speaking to, as an example, like the real estate industry, National Association of Realtors, you know, people like that, or associations like that, other influencers within that would be beneficial to us, social media influencers, you know, so on and so forth. The trade association, as a trade association, we should not be, we are not training providers.
Right.
Training providers can be part of our association and should be accredited by our association, but we are not a training provider. Training providers are training providers.
Yep. They do what they do.
They're in business to make money, right?
Yeah.
Training providers are in business to make money. I mean, you know, they serve a great purpose, but they're in business to make money. They are not an association. So,
well, let's talk about, let's switch gears. Well, let me just wrap up kind of what you were saying about, you know, even the education provider. So it is an important distinction to be able to have, is that, you know, when you look at RESA and you look at self-regulating. So RESA, we're a 501c6. It's the exact same business structure as the National Association of Realtors. I am the CEO. Some nonprofits, they call them executive directors when they're kind of more charities. We're really CEOs or presidents of trade associations. I report to a board of directors. Richard, you're on the board of directors. So it's all about governance. So what the mission of what we're doing, it's so much bigger than what I think that a lot of people realize, is that this is a movement. Over 100 years ago, NAR, National Association of Realtors, did something similar that RESA did in 2007. And that was, they were founded. And they were founded with a bunch of different members and started their different associations throughout North America, and it has expanded over 100 years. Well, RESA is the exact same concept, is that we're here to be a trade association to service real estate staging and the stagers within them, and training providers are part of that process. So what we do is we accredit them, which means that because we're a nonprofit, we can be Switzerland. We're a neutral party. So we set the standards to say, okay, if we're going to offer an accreditation on a course, these are the subject matters that need to be taught. And these are the personal business practices that you need to have in your business. So if you are a business, if you're in a partnership with other people and you're a training provider, we mandate, that you have to meet so many times a year. You should have surveys, feedback surveys, and how do you go about them in reviewing that information and implementing changes. So we look at their fiscal soundness even to make sure that, if somebody's going to fly across country to go take a 3-day class somewhere and they, pull up to a Ramada Inn where they're teaching a program, or a Hilton, that they walk in the doors and that provider is going to actually be there. So it's really important, the function that RESA provides for the education providers is so the newbies coming on board, the people that are wanting to seek that foundation training, can be rest assured that this class has been reviewed. It does hit a standard. Everybody's free to teach with their own styles, but we need to make sure that they're teaching certain things to our standards. So that's a little bit about the accreditation program. And it's one of the things that RESA does do. Mm-hmm. One of the other things, let's touch on this, that's a nice little segue over, is talk about codes of ethics. So I never in a million years, I don't know why I wasn't this forward thinking, because there were so many things in 2007 that I was thinking, this is what I want it to look like in 10, 20, 50 years. But a code of ethics, when we first started, and an ethics policy and grievance policy and all that, was not anything that I had anticipated happening. And over the last 15 years, we did one code of ethics, and then you survey the members and people give feedback, and then you tweak it as you go along. And now we have a really solid code of ethics, I think now.
Yes, I agree.
Why do you think it's so important for the legitimacy of an industry to have that trade association with those code of ethics? What do you think the bigger message is to people?
The bigger message? I think the code of ethics is important because, if they're followed, basically the code of ethics boils down to, don't lie, cheat, or steal, right? That's basically everything, that basically the code of ethics in a nutshell right there. And I think that if they're followed, almost every problem that stagers have with each other and with clients would just disappear.
Yeah.
They would just go away. Everybody knows that, I'm active on Facebook, and I pay attention a lot to the stager Facebook groups. And the majority of the time, anytime that anyone has a problem with another stager or with a client, it's because the code of ethics were not followed.
Yeah.
And I'm just always astounded by that. It just, don't lie, cheat, or steal.
Yeah. And that's words of wisdom right there. You have it, everybody. So that's about wraps it up. We're at the end of our time. And I think it's important, this is all important subject matter to take seriously. The bigger message is that we want to promote and advance professionalism and excellence in staging, and having a trade association and members that adhere to those code of ethics, just like realtors. You're a real estate agent, you join your local association of realtors, that puts you into state, puts you into national, you're then a realtor. And it's just a whole nother way to look at the professionalism and the legitimacy that's layered through what we do. So Richard, thank you for being an advocate for ethics. We appreciate your time. And for everybody else, another episode of Stager Talk in the can. Appreciate you listening. Until next time, happy staging. And
thanks, Shell. Bye-bye.